great pleasure to introduce Cyril Boisard, and he's the Director of People here at Workleap.
Thanks, Rob. So let's start. A bit about myself first. So good morning, everyone. Maybe it's not morning for everyone, so good evening, good afternoon for everyone that's joining from outside of our time zone. My name is Cyril, as you already know. I'm a people director here at Workleap. So it's a real pleasure for me to discuss that topic. Not only it is close to my heart, but I think it's a crucial moment for the success of any organization. So we're going to talk about the onboarding experience. What makes my perspective unique, you would say? You would ask, maybe. I would say my background. So let me share a little secret. It's not much of a secret. It's on the slide there. I didn't always work in HR. In fact, before stepping into this role, I spent years as a developer, director of software engineering, agile coach, among other things. Working in different size company in different countries, from a startup to a big corporation, from mainly in North America and Europe. So this experience has given me a deep understanding of both the human aspect of the onboarding, but also the technical aspect of it. We only have around 20 minutes, so I'm not gonna cover every aspect of what's important to have a great onboarding, but I'm gonna try to give you a few tips so you can get started. On a side note, we do measure internally the impact of our onboarding, how people feel about it, and everything. So and we're scoring 9 out of 10. So I believe that we might be doing some things right, and I want to share a bit of that with you. So let's dive into it. First of all, I'm not like you here. You probably know, and you're probably convinced that onboarding is the moment that really matters. So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna try to convince you. I just want to expose a few numbers. Remember, I used to be a developer, so numbers are a big part of my life. So 69% of employees are more likely to stick around for 3 years or more if they have a fantastic onboarding experience. When we know that tenure usually around tech companies is about like 1.5 to 2 years, uh, and that is not that complicated to design the right onboarding experience if you have the right tools and the right mindset. Obviously, in my opinion, it's a bit like, I'm a coffee guy, so in my opinion, it's a bit like finding out that when you get your latte at your coffee shop, your favorite coffee shop, they're giving out free muffin. It's a bit of the same feeling for me. However, Gallup's report that only 12% of employees feel like their company is hitting the mark. This is really low, and with a few tips and a few things, everyone can get started and have something that is hitting the mark, I think, in terms of onboarding. So, uh, and if we look at it from a business perspective, also, an effective onboarding isn't just a nice to have. It's going to spice up your team productivity by a whooping 50%. In my opinion, those statistics alone underscore the significance of investing in a robust onboarding program from a people perspective, but also from a business perspective. So let's look now at a few key ingredients that are going to help you make your onboarding a great moment for your people and a great ROI for the organization, of course. First, I'm going to be talking more about context, how to approach building the path, and then later I'm going to share some practical tips. So let's go into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is you need to approach this moment as a continuous team priority. By continuous, I mean like it's not a one and off. So let's talk first a few seconds about the importance of team collaboration. Building an impactful onboarding experience require, I think, significant collaborative effort. It's not just an HR thing, and it's not just paperwork. it must be a team priority. It must involve managers, IT, talent acquisition people, HR business partner, learning teams, and also current employees. So that's what I want to emphasis when talking about a continuous team priority. It needs to be involving everyone. So you can make it a great experience. So first, so a few points that I want to talk about. You need to work together to design an intentional experience. By intentional, I mean making sure that not everything falls on the same time at the same moment, that they are disconnected. So everything needs to fall in place at the right moment to making sure you're not overwhelming their new colleague. Oftentimes, people receive a lot of information the first week of their onboarding, and they don't even like remember anything the second week because everything is dumped. There's no path. There's no clear rhythm to the onboarding. So, for example, at Workleap, we have been working closely with managers and the learning team to make sure we define a clear path for the first 3 months of a new hire journey, and making sure the admin, cultural, and learning aspect of the onboarding are tackled in the most efficient way that is going to provide the right information at the right time for the person to be able to onboard in a non overwhelming way. So it's really important. Second bullet point, it's share feedback in an ongoing way. So when I say share feedback in an ongoing way, I'm not talking about the organization or us sharing feedback to the new employee. I'm talking about the opposite. So having new employees share feedback regularly and openly to help you continuously improve the onboarding process, it is a must. Your onboarding process should not be static. It should be like improved over time, and it should be following everything that you discover along the way. So, for example, we used the onboarding survey in Office Vibe to get valuable insight into what's working, what can be improved, but also how do people understand their role and the company culture. I will be talking about culture a bit later, but belonging is a big part of the successful onboarding, and those tools going to help you with that. So, third point. Um, this is one that is probably close to me, too close to my background. But I really do think that as HR, so we need to partner closely than ever with IT. With the increase in remote work, work from anywhere, and tech at companies, obviously, you absolutely need to have IT and HR work hand in hand together. For example, we have like touch points and open communication with IT. We have a channel in Slack where HR and IT, basically HR BPs and IT are in it, and making sure that everything is dealt with in timely manner. Because with onboarding, I think time is of the essence. You need to be reactive when there's a problem. So in this Slack channel, like there's no boss. The focus of everyone is making sure that people have a great experience. So everyone is poking anyone, and as soon as there's something, we're trying to make sure that everything is taken care of in a timely manner. So being intentional about onboarding moment. I was saying like onboarding is not just one moment. It's a collection of a lot of small moments that's going to help you create something that is a bigger moment that matters a lot to everyone. So um, I'm going to talk about like especially the pre-boarding moment, which is often misused and not really uh, we don't capitalize on that moment. So it's the time where a person is not a candidate anymore and is not an employee yet. It's between the two. He hasn't started. Um, I think during that time, we as a team, meaning HR managers mostly, need to reach out to newcomers to express excitement about the arrival and address any question or concern they may have. By being intentional about these pre-boarding moments, we I think we set the stage for a positive onboarding experience, and a less anxious first day, because onboarding, like starting at a new company, is not an easy task. It's for a lot of people, it become anxious, and they come on the first day and we're remote and we don't know anybody and we don't see people and we don't know the culture. So creating those moments before the actual first day would help anyone, I think, uh, uh, make it a better first day, a better first week, and a better onboarding for everyone. So we prompt our manager internally to reach out to newcomers like around 2 weeks before they join, so they can ask if they have any question, any things to clarify, and they can express their excitement for their arrival. That makes people feel connected to the organization before they even arrive. And some of our manager also post a message on LinkedIn to just like recognize the fact that they're excited that someone is coming on board with us. Third key learning. Onboarding is not a one-time project. It's a continuous commitment. I believe in fostering a culture of continuous feedback and collaboration, both with manager and IT. I would say with the employee also in there, because I think they're a big part of the onboarding too. But we want to ensure that our onboarding process evolve and improve over time. So you get better and better and better, and you have you have an onboarding experience that's going to be even better in the next few months than it is today. So we do regular check-in with new hires to that allow us to gauge the experience and make necessary adjustments, so we better support them and the next one to come. So yeah, this one is a simple one, but I think if you treat the onboarding as a one-time project, you're gonna get some good thing about it, but it's not gonna be the best experience that you can create. Okay, so those were just a few key point on how to approach or start designing your onboarding journey, and hopefully that will help like create something that's going to be going to have an impact for your employee. Now let's talk about a few things that you can sprinkle on top of everything to have a bigger, even a bigger impact on your employee, and a few tips that hopefully are going to help you more concretely designing that great onboarding. So let's start with the tip one. Setting clear expectation and goals. We often think of feedback as something that starts once an employee has ramped up or is like 100% up to speed. New employee wants to know how they're doing. They want to know if they're meeting expectation. As anybody else, they want to know where they're headed. Like especially during the onboarding time, it's quite an anxious feeling not knowing if you're going in the right way, understanding the right thing, doing the good thing. You should do more or less. So having clear expectation and goals help. I think one of the first step in an onboarding path should be setting clear expectation and goal for the new hire. For example, we outline specific milestone for a new employee within like we do within the first 30, 60, 90 days. You can do it like first week, 3 weeks, 9 weeks. It's your rhythm, it's your company, it's your culture. So you know what's gonna work for you, but having clear expectation and goal ensure that new hire is going to understand what is expecting of them, how their contribution align with organizational goals, and you're going to give them clarity from day one. That's a big one. So you want people that are autonomous even in the onboarding, and autonomy it's complete competence and clarity. So you hire the person so he has the competence to give them clarity, so you have somebody that's going to be autonomous as soon as possible. So that's the first one. The second tip that I want to share is recognition. So recognition is often forgotten in onboarding. By the way, if you're interested in deep diving into recognition, there's a session this afternoon with Rob and Marijo. I suggest you register for this one. I think it's going to be interesting. So, recognition plays an important role in engaging any employee, but new employee even more. It's going to help them. It's going to help you reinforce positive behavior. Um, you should during the onboarding process, you should encourage manager to recognize and celebrate achievement, even small achievement. For example, we do ask manager, so we have the good vibe card in office vibe, and we do ask manager to send a good vibe card in the first 2 weeks of onboarding, so they can recognize even a small achievement, and let you know the person that they're headed in the right direction. um, During that portion of the onboarding, the new employee doesn't know the culture, so he needs to understand what's important or not, and what he can do, what he cannot do, and the celebrating achievement, recognizing achievement, it's going to help you do that. So, and it's going to like cultivate ambassador for the organization that's going to help you keep them longer. Um, yeah. So, tip 3, culture guidebook. So I've talked about it just before. Reinforcing positive behavior. That's how I see the cultural part of the onboarding. Um, we should view the onboarding, or you should maybe view the onboarding experience as a cultural guidebook for a new employee. It's not just about teaching them the and out of their job, even if it's really important. Like the learning part of the onboarding is a big part of the onboarding, but you need to immerse them in your company culture from day one. When designing your path, you should be intentional, adding moment that relate and clarify your culture to new employee. People are coming from different company, different culture, different things were acceptable over there that maybe are not at your company. So you need to make them understand those, and help them connect with your new culture. For so we as a company have a lot of transparency, and we want people to be able to talk to anyone, to connect with anyone. So we foster this by having um, every single new employee gets a personalized welcome video from everyone at the exec team. That's one of the favorite feature we have in our onboarding. Like each time we're asking people what was the highlight of their first week or anything, they're often saying like the personalized video where the exec was welcoming me and telling me that I could reach out and discuss with them if I had anything was a big part of the highlight of the first week that we have at Workleap. So that's something that like culture is often in onboarding. I've seen in many organizations they think about culture as something that's just gonna like pop up to the employee face when he's there. There's a few of that's going to happen with colleagues and everything, but you need to be intentional, and you need to be able to uh, make people understand your culture. So that was the last tip. There's a bonus tip, more of a conclusion, I would say, around onboarding. So I want to emphasize the importance on capitalizing. That's a hard word for me to say. Sorry. On the honeymoon phase of the onboarding, to build ambassador for your organization, people that are going to feel they belong and that are going to stay a long time. You need to focus on the learning part of the onboarding, which is a really important part for like shortening the time to productivity, and especially in remote, which is a big problem. But you need also to focus on the cultural onboarding, the cultural aspect of the onboarding, which is often led to chance. Um, and this is especially true for new manager, new leaders in your organization should be culturally onboarded in an intentional way. even more than new employee. Those leaders have a ripple effect on the organization, and you want them to understand what's how do you deal with performance, what's acceptable, what's not in your. So that's a big part of what you should do. So with that, you can create a work for that not only understand but also embodies our company value, because understanding is one part. The embodies part that is often forgotten. So in conclusion of this, I'm gonna say that onboarding is not just a checklist. In my perspective, it's a strategic investment in your most valuable asset, your people. And we're at the end. Thank you. I hope this was interesting enough, and I think we have time for a question, if I'm not mistaken. If I can reconnect
We
my. Oh, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, great. Then we absolutely do. Just quickly before we get into that, actually, if you can just pop that slide back on that we just ended with. For those of you who've been listening, this one right here. So if you're looking for any actionable templates that you can start to use to tackle onboarding the way that we do it here at Workleap, be sure to check out our employee onboarding plan templates. We've got the QR code up there. Scan it with your phone and open it up. It's got everything that you need to start planting those seeds of excellence from day one. So Cyril, I mean, a big thank you for this session. And we've got one question because we've really only got about 2 minutes before we wrap this one up. Just a final tip, like how can the folks who are listening today make virtual and remote onboarding even more engaging? I know you've covered this a lot throughout the session, but if there's one like real key takeaway on what folks should really be thinking about in the next week to improve that virtual or remote experience, what would it be to make it more engaging?
So I've said it during the presentation. It's the one thing that people should focus on that is often not clear for people. It's giving clarity. So it's making it's setting expectation and goals. There's the whole thing. Like of course you need to help them feel connected to the organization and everything, but setting clear goals. You want to build leaders. You want to push people to have autonomy in your organization, so you don't have to be there and look at everything or anything. So having clarity help them be autonomous and help them shorten the time to productivity, because they exactly know where they're going and what they need to do to be successful. So setting clear goals and expectation, and it can be from as long as the 30, 60, 90 days, but I would say you can even go shorter. What do you expect as a new manager? Basically, I'm more talking about the manager there, because the manager is going to be supported by HR in that dimension. But as a new manager, give clarity to your people, meaning what do I expect from you for the first week? What do I expect for you for the second week and for the first month? So those clear expectations, those clear goals that you're going to give them, going to help everyone be more, let's say, engage in what they do. They don't know to reach. It's hard to reach out to people in remote. You always need to put a meeting. So if you give clarity from the beginning, those it's going to be even more efficient for them to learn the in and outs of the job and connect with the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Cyril. And I think it's just so important too, talking about that manager enablement and giving the managers the tools they need to make that onboarding experience that they're really building in partnership with the people team a little bit easier and a little bit more efficient, because ultimately managers still have all their regular day jobs that they're doing. So it's how do we help support them? So with that, this concludes this session. Cyril, thank you so much for joining us. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Rob. Much appreciated too. Have a great day.